edition. Yeah, Wednesday morning edition. TK joining us from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood here in Baton Rouge. It is college baseball week, of course, at the SEC tournament. Who knows if they're ever going to play? LSU, by virtue of an amazing weekend and everything, the sky, the moon, and the stars lining up, didn't have to play Tuesday, got the bye to Wednesday night. Now that bye is for tonight for tomorrow morning. But now it's even looking like it might even be more delayed. And for more on what's going on in Hoover, TK, tell us what the heck is going on over there.
Well, Ronnie, they did get 3 games in yesterday. There were several stoppages of play. Alabama beat Georgia, then Florida walked off South Carolina, then Vanderbilt beat Ole Miss 3-1. Game ended up after midnight last night. So, they're fighting it, and there's rain in the forecast. Let's see, it's flooding right now in Birmingham. So rain in the forecast in Hoover today and tomorrow. I read a tweet that Commissioner Sankey, they're talking about they may have to shift this to a single elimination tournament. I don't know, Ronnie, what do you shorten it to 7-inning games? I mean, there's a lot of options out there, but you'd have to get everybody to agree. But everybody knows the weather, is situation. I mean, it's really unfortunate because it's the best college baseball tournament of the year other than Omaha. So it's unfortunate, but LSU, if you want to say they catch a break, because they're not scheduled to play until tomorrow morning, and that could be pushed back or whatever. So, a couple of guys that have some injuries, and then you got to reset the pitching staff, a lot of things in play there. Feel bad for the SEC, but Mother Nature's undefeated. You can't control it when it starts raining like it has been.
So the interesting thing about this situation, it reminds me of a couple of things. One, LSU baseball in 1990 was co-champs of the tournament with Mississippi State that year. They actually did not play the championship game because of lightning and rain on that Sunday. They didn't want to obviously go any later into the night or later into Monday, so they banged it, and they were 2 champs that year. The other is, it reminds me of 1991 when the NCAA regional at Alex Box Stadium, where we beat the Raging Cajuns in the finals to advance to the College World Series. The whole tournament itself was delayed like 2 or 3 days. I think if it was supposed to start on a Thursday, I don't think we started till like Saturday or something because of rain. And it got so bad, Tommy, I remember at a little banquet we had in the old LSU Union where they had all the teams there, that they talked about potentially moving the whole tournament to Texas A&M. I mean, just moving it to a whole nother state because the Aggies were in the regional that year. And LSU would have lost home field advantage, which you play so hard to get. As it turns out, we played anyway, and we played with the tarp on the warning track for every single game. Like that, we just had it laid out because that's how often the tarp had to be pulled on and off and on and off. And at the old box, didn't drain as well as the new box. So if the ball went on the tarp, it was a ground rule double. That was the rule. And I remember our outfielders got high top cleats. Rich Cordani, Lyle Mouton, Armando Rios, they got high top cleats because the water was so high. They were standing in water just to play the games. I mean, so there's been, obviously, they don't do those types of things anymore. There's more emphasis on the field being more immaculate, or there's lightning 9 miles away. Everybody goes inside. But there's been precedent for this. And I think they should go to a single elimination at this point. I think that makes a lot of sense. It hurts a lot of teams like, say, LSU, that's hoping they could go over there, win a few games, play a few games, not only to get their pitching more experience, but also to ensure an opportunity to host a regional. If LSU loses that first game, Tommy, you don't get a chance to win a couple in the losers bracket. You're over with, and you're just hoping that 17 SEC wins is enough. So this is not a great scenario for the league, and the league this year is a little down as a whole.
I agree completely. I think you hit a lot of nails on the head there. And, but again, you can't do nothing about Mother Nature. It is what it is. And I mean, they're going to, I'm sure all the brain trust of the SEC, they're huddled up. They're coming up with plan A, B, C, D, E. They're trying to figure out, hey, what's the best way for us to go through this thing, depending on the weather. Again, do you shorten it to 7-inning games? Do you, I don't know. Do you put a time limit? I mean, that could be craziness. I don't think a time limit, but they could shorten them to 7-inning games. But then, like yesterday, you got the 3 games in, you have 1 game win extra innings, which they probably went, oh no, there we go, more time off the clock when it's not raining.
Stephen Miller asking if there's a potential they would go to alternate sites. I don't think so. I think they're so invested in Hoover, they're so invested in that stadium, the fair, everything around that ballpark with TV being there and everything. I don't see them going anywhere, even because here's what your alternative is, Stephen. What do? Do you go to Samford and play on their full all turf field, but it's all got Samford and their other leagues' logos on it and everything like that? Branding is so important to this league. I just don't see it happening, and bringing TV, unplugging TV, and going somewhere else. That takes, with that kind of production over there, it's going to take a day, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I think if anything, they'll just cancel games and cancel the tournament before they go move to another state or something like that.
Well, one thing, and I didn't read this. This is just TK, being creative. Maybe you say, hey, we're going to get to Saturday, and we're going to let the top 4 teams, the top 4 seeds, playoff for the title, and you guys that were 5 through whatever, the ones that won yesterday, that's the luck of the draw. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put anything off the table because they want to have a champion. But like you said, it's not unprecedented that A, have co-champions, or B, I mean, we didn't have a tournament because of COVID. So, I mean, it may just have to be a weather situation, and again, the SEC is doing everything they can to try to get these games in, but when that stuff's coming out of the sky, you can't do it.
It's a shame that the Superdome no longer has the baseball field configuration that went away after Katrina, and it was when Katrina flooded everything. They redid the stadium. They just didn't go order it and get new baseball configuration because there's no major league team there. It's a shame that happened because, granted, it's a giant venue, and even if you put 10,000 people in the dome, it doesn't feel like 10,000 at the box. It's still awesome because you never have this issue. And in 1992, they played the SEC tournament in the Superdome, and that was fantastic. You had all the games ran on time, all the games were fast. It's a tremendous ballpark. The players like playing there. Probably not the best venue for the fans from a standpoint of the feel of baseball, other than when LSU played. It was so cavernous. If you had Vanderbilt back then, Vanderbilt wasn't Vanderbilt. If you had Vanderbilt taking on Georgia in the Superdome in 1992, I mean, other than LSU fans just being bored, there wasn't a lot of people there. So I understand why, and it was very expensive. But now you have to deal with these types of things. And what's curious to me is more and more ballparks are going to turf, Tommy. And I know that professional baseball, which is where, over in Hoover, they play – the turf field option, if you turf that field, you wouldn't have as many issues. You could literally just be sitting there and 20, 30 minutes after it stops raining, you can be playing games. And that's not the case right now. And I know that would benefit Vanderbilt because they're the only team in Kentucky. Those are the only 2 teams in the league that have turf. But I would like to see them consider that, especially if, for tournament play, when you don't have those issues.
Well, and Craig makes a point. There's no rain in the forecast Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I suspect we'll see something along the lines of single elimination, perhaps 7-inning games. There's going to be an adjustment made. Because, I mean, you could start a game at 9 in the morning. And, you can start – they started last night after 10 p.m. So, I mean, you can push the envelope there. And all these kids played travel ball. They've had 8 a.m. games, and they played games that started at 11 p.m. We all seen those scenarios. So, and I think the coaches and the players would want to play, and so we'll just have to see how that might unfold.
Let's talk about what happened yesterday. By the way, I'm worried for Ole Miss. Obviously, a personal friendship with Mike Bianco, and pull for Ole Miss when they're not playing LSU for his purposes only. They lost to Vanderbilt, and they've got sitting there on 13 wins. They're sitting on, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah,
13 wins. Most years, like last year, I think that's enough to get in. Probably not the case this year, Tommy, where 13 wins will be enough to get into the NCAA tournament. With the way the league is down as a whole, I hope he gets the benefit of the doubt. At one point earlier this year, believe it or not, early in the season, Ole Miss was ranked number 1 in the country. And now it looks more and more like Ole Miss might not even get in, and that's pretty shocking. And if they don't get into the NCAA tournament, I expect a coaching change up in Oxford. I don't agree with it. I don't think you can find a better option per se. Everybody just wants to fire people, get rid of people, but you got to have a dog waiting in the wings in order to plug them in. And, if they bring back Cliff Godwin, maybe they bring back Cliff Godwin, who was an assistant at Ole Miss, and he's at East Carolina. I'd love that hire. It'd be ironic because obviously Cliff worked for Mike. But I'm worried about the situation for him personally. And you mentioned Ben Mincy confronted the Whistler last night at the game. There's some video online. Tell the folks about it.
Well, that Whistler thing, this is where I put the blame, Ron. It's on Vanderbilt University. They got to tell the guy to stop, or, you got to have a limit. You want to do it.
The SEC can tell him to stop.
Well, but again, Ronnie, because this is what's happening. People hit the mute button, and the SEC network does not want people to hit the mute button. Well, I promise you, other than Vandy fans and maybe some Vandy fans, people are hitting the mute button. It's so annoying, okay? It's cute and funny, and if, you put a limit on it, like, hey, guy, if your team's within, if there's a rally and you're down a run, you want to whistle, go ahead. But to sit there and do it every single pitch. Now, I read where Tim Corbin is not bothered by it. Okay, what else can he say? And a couple of Vandy players said they're not bothered by it. They're just cutting, but they're used to it. But it ruins the television broadcast, television money. And again, the SEC network does not want people hitting the mute button. And you can't switch to a radio call because you can still hear it there, So it's really, I think, well, you say it's on the SEC. I think first and foremost, it's on Vanderbilt to stop it. And then if Vanderbilt won't stop it, then the SEC could come in and say, okay, we're going to make you stop it now.
It's, this has been aggravating for years. This isn't anything new. The rule is artificial noisemakers, right? That's why you have the whole cowbell controversy, and they have to put the sign up to stop ringing the cowbell before the quarterback goes to the line of scrimmage and all that kind of stuff. This isn't artificial. And so then you get into a situation where, hey, you're yelling too loud, in essence, right? In essence, you're yelling too loud. So then it's, well, Chris Giot's yelling loud. I don't know. It's, in this day and age, you can do what you want. You can say what you want. You can feel the way you want. You can be a guy if you're a girl and a girl if you're a guy, depending on how you wake up in the morning. So I have a hard time thinking that the league's going to come down and say, you, sir, get up out of that seat, and you can't do that anymore. They don't want to open that can of worms and that lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. It's bad. It's bad. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible.
And again, it's having a severe impact on the television broadcast. Television money is important to the Southeastern Conference, to the schools. It's important to all teams in the country. And this is so annoying that it is absolutely causing people to hit the mute button. And again, the TV network can't possibly like that.
So Devin giving Mincy confronted the backup Whistler, not the lead greaseball Whistler. So Mincy went for I guess there's two of them, and he went for
there's two of them. There's a big article in the USA Today about them and all that. Well, not big article, but there's an article. And,
are they equal? Like, are they the same? I mean, I literally mute the games when I don't even.
I mute them. There's no question.
Are they the same? Do they whistle the same, or is one a different whistle than the other?
No, it's basically exactly the same. I guess maybe some music professor could tell you they were slightly different, but I think to the person and the people in the ballpark, it's so annoying. I mean, gee. Everybody's been at a game when you had that guy 2 rows away that aggravated you or annoyed you. I mean, that's happened, okay? But again, this is something that's over the line, and they really need to do something about it.
Did you see where Dylan Cruz won the award?
Your Lipscomb guy didn't make it.
Yeah. He got, I mean, how about third base? He beat out Barry at third base, but I mean, Barry doesn't get hurt. Who knows what his numbers are? Heck, Barry probably would have been the co-MVP. The problem with Barry is the defense is so bad, it would have been a hard thing for them to say, hey, you're co-MVP because the defense is so bad. But I mean, offensively, he doesn't get hurt. His numbers are going to be better than Cruz, most likely.
Yeah, I agree completely. Dylan Cruz is the best player in the country as far as I'm concerned. And obviously I've seen him play a lot. And I don't think I'm looking at it, biasly. I just think he's a six-tool baseball player because he's also got the baseball IQ. Huge honor for him. Trey Morgan was also recognized, and Barry. But that's big. And guess what, LSU fans? He's a Tiger again next year.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
That's the best part of it. That's clearly the best part of it.
Let's see. All SEC recognition for Dylan Cruz. Jacob Berry made second team. Guy hit like 370 something with 15 homers. Made second team. And Trey Morgan awarded SEC All Defensive Team honors. And of course, Morgan as well be back next year. 345, 21 homers, 67 ribbies. It's 31. That's in 55 games. 21 homers, 67 ribbies in 55 games. He and Barry named the semifinals to the Golden Spikes Award, which goes, of course, LSU has not won a Golden Spikes Award since Ben McDonald. Only one in history, which is the Heisman Trophy winner. Surprising with all the great players that they haven't won one. Let's see. How about the fact that last week Dylan Cruz was not named SEC Player of the Week? They gave it to Joe Bear. Now, Joe Bear had the amazing game in Game 3. But Dylan Cruz, all 3 days, I guess they got tired of putting his name on awards. They just decided we'll change it up.
Well, they sort of 9 RBIs, Ronnie. That doesn't happen real often.
No, I get it. But it was one game. Dylan Cruz did it for 3 games. That's all.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could. I see your point, and I can't say I disagree.
I'm just saying, make him co-MVPs or something like that. Sonny DeShera, the big fella for Auburn, looks more like a right guard than he does a football player. He got co-MVP, and again, a Samford transfer. He was over at Samford, so the transfer portal was big for Auburn. So the rest, if LSU does not play in Hoover, or even if they only play one game in Hoover, Tommy, good thing, bad thing?
Could be a good thing as far as getting Barry and Doty healthy, maybe Milazzo, Dugas, whatever. That could be a good thing to let them have more time because you need them guys in the regional. And LSU's going to be in the regional. The question is it in Baton Rouge or not? But like we just saw Craig say, there's no rain in the forecast Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they're going to play some baseball. LSU's going to play at least one game. Now, if it turns to single elimination, they lose, they're done. We get that. But, they're going to play some baseball. And the other thing, you can reset the pitching staff. Now, all arms will be available when they play, which right now is scheduled for Thursday morning, but that's probably not going to happen.
Let's see. I would say that it's a bad thing for LSU that they don't play because I don't trust the NCAA selection committee, and so I would like to make sure that LSU got a chance to pile on some wins. I thought going 2-2 in Hoover would get them the RPI and the wins and stuff that they need to ensure being a top 18, top 16 team to be able to host, and so getting that potentially. If you not able to pick up 2 wins this week, you're putting it in the hands of a committee that you don't know what the agenda is in that room, or the bias, or somebody not like Jay, or somebody mad from the Pac-12 that he left, or whatever the case may be. So I just don't like. And how about the fact that it's just such a weird year for the league? We think of the SEC as the best league by far. That may not be the case just this year, top to bottom. Arkansas, who looked like a lock to be a host site, maybe even a lock at one point to be a top 8 national seed, now finds themselves similar to LSU, and they're sweating it a little bit. And that's just weird.
I'm not trying to pardon the pun, rain on the state of Mississippi, but as you said, Ole Miss was number 1 in the country at one point earlier in the year, and Mississippi State is the reigning College World Series champions, and they didn't even make it to Hoover. Now, they had injuries, we get all that, but wow, so you're right. It's been a strange year.
Stephen Miller pointing that out by saying, hey, is it not necessarily a bad thing if they play the regional on the road? And because this team has been really good on the road, especially obviously
they won 4 out of 5 SEC series on the road, right, and they didn't do that well at home.
But the reality is, come on, Stephen, the fact that we have season tickets, the fact that we care about LSU baseball is for
I want the regional in the box. I want it in the box. I know the home road thing. That's kind of like the lefty, righty, righty, lefty thing, okay? sometimes you just got to put some of those numbers aside. LSU's better off if that regional's at the box.
Well,
And so are the LSU baseball fans who want to go watch it.
Right. And here's the other thing, too. That LSU Alex Bach experience was not the same this year from a standpoint of the fans weren't there in the numbers that they normally are. Yeah, they bought the tickets, but they weren't there in attendance-wise. They weren't into the games making the noise. It wasn't really a big home field advantage at all. And so Jay Johnson and this team has yet to see that home field advantage. But you would have that in a regional. That game two, marble game would be electric like it always is at a regional. You'd have the 10, 11,000 actual and the buzz in the ballpark and stuff like that. So, Jay Johnson and this team doesn't realize how big of an advantage that is because they just haven't had it all year long. But I'd love to see that happen.
I agree with you.
Speaking of that, the regionals, of course, would be like the weekend of the 3rd through 5th or 4th through 6th. But the Baton Rouge Rougarou start their first home game June 7th. So the regionals would happen, and then June 7th would take place. It's a Tuesday. By the way, we've got a brand new tarp, so if it rains, field's going to be covered. We'll be fine.
Well, and I've told everybody there is a covered grandstand.
Exactly.
So if there is a little rain shower or one of those late night thunderstorms, you're not going to get wet. You can go to the concession stand, get a beer, get a daiquiri, get some food, get a snack. I mean, so keep all that in mind. In fact, Ronnie, I got an idea. I'm going to run by you after we get off the air. I don't want to blindside you with it on the air.
All right. Well, June 7th is be here before you know it. 24 home games for the Rougarou. Go to brrougarou.com. brrougarou.com. Help support the Baton Rouge Rougarou. Help support college baseball in Baton Rouge.
There's the website for everybody.
Get your $100 for $100. 4 people can go to every single game. That's literally $1 a ticket. So even if you're not going to go to a game, buy the family 4-pack of season tickets. Give it to your friends, coworkers, clients, family, whatever. Let them go. You're helping support the Rougarou and Tommy and I, and so do that. Go to brrougarou.com and help support us for $100. You can't do anything for $1 anymore, but you can go to a Rougarou game.
You can't fill your car up with gas, but you can go to 24 baseball games with 3 other people.
You can't get gum anymore. You can't get a fountain drink after the tax, whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. But you can go to a Rougarou game. And by the way, Tuesday night is 2 for Tuesdays. So there's like there's a menu, specialty menu with items that are normally $4 and $5 that are only $2 on Tuesday, which is opening day. So come on out.
And what you also got to go to the website and get you some gear, get you some hats, some shirts, wear them out to the ball game, So you got to do that too. And the website's on the screen, brrougarou.com. You can always reach out to Ronnie or me if you want any more information, you want to get involved with it, just reach out to us and we'll holler back.
All right, he's Tommy. I'm Ronnie. Thanks for watching Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. Tell us about Tremonti's on the way out.
Well, Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, they got everything you need for the Memorial Day weekend. If you're going to grill, you can have a party at the house, family get together, steaks, seafood, wine, whiskey. They can cater for you, or you can buy it all and cook it. Connect on Facebook and Instagram. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Still got some crawfish, a couple of weeks left of that. Crabs are not that far away. But get everything you need for the weekend. And don't forget that Woodford Reserve whiskey, that store pick. Big deal on that, too.
All right, we'll see you on Friday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily. Until